Grupo Modelo set up stakes in 1922. 3 years later, it released two of the most popular beers in the world, Corona and Modelo Especial. At a time where most Mexican beers were European influenced, the company decided to craft lighter, less expensive beers to offer a refreshing break from the Mexican heat. Is Modelo Especial able to quench the summer thirst? Find out now on Two Dudes Reviews.
What up, guys? Yeah, today we have Modelo Especial, and we're gonna crack it open. But as I do this, I'm already a little leery just because of that clear glass bottle. I don't understand why people do that. It's just like, we don't care if our beer gets skunked. You're gonna drink it anyways. But anyways, we'll see how this one goes. I can't say, I don't think I've had the Especial before. Now, this came out, first came out in 25, and that was in 1925, and that's really when Mexican beers started to kind of move away from the Vienna Lager and Czech Pilsner from the late 1800s into what Corona and Modelo. They're both owned by Modelo, and they both came out generally at the exact same time, which is why they're very similar. But anyways, let's get to the smell. You have that kind of musty smelling like wheat to it. I really think it's because if that was in a dark bottle, it would have a crisper aroma, but it gets a little skunky, and that you smell that. It definitely reflects in it. You have, it's not as sharp as it should be. But it has a little bit of kind of lemon zest in there, and maybe a little apricot. But yeah, that kind of wet barley, wheat aroma thing going on. That's, you got that going on here. Not as strong as what you might get in some other beers with the clear bottle, but it's there. So, not super excited about it. So I don't think I'm going to recommend it on aroma. But, all right, let's get into taste. Honestly, it's not terrible. I was actually expecting something to be a whole lot worse. There is a nice little bit of carbonation kind of going on the tip of my tongue. It's not heavy, but enough to kind of excite your tongue a little bit. It's got just a little bit of bitterness, a little more hoppy than what you're going to get, I think, from a lot of these kind of lighter Mexican beers. I mean, even if it's hard to see on the camera, but even the color is just a hair darker than a lot of the other, lighter Mexican beers. So you got a little bit of that bitterness. There is kind of a slight kind of charcoal woodsy flavor going on with the barley and all that. Nothing's super exciting about it, but it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be, honestly. I think this would it's probably taste better in can if you're into drinking it out of a can, because at least you're not getting the light exposure. Because even if it's not sitting in the sunlight, every time you open your fridge and you get the light popping on, you're kind of funkifying the beer just a little bit more. So I think just having the can would probably help with the taste. I'm going to give this a half for taste. There's nothing really super special about it, but it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. So that in itself is worth something, right? So I'll give it a half for that. But I think this in can might taste a little better. So if you're feeling like a Modelo, go for can, because then at least you're not getting the sun thing going on. Next is value for price, and like a lot of Mexican beers, the price for this is pretty darn good. The price tag, I thought it was on there. It's not, but less than $2 for one. Whenever you can get a single for less than $2, I will recommend it almost always, and that's the case for this, so I will recommend it for value for price. Next is distinction. How distinct is it from other beers? I'm going to, compare it to other Mexican beers, and this came, it's followed the Vienna Lager and the Czech Pilsner kind of thing, and they just kind of went away from the European style and went with stuff that was more locally sourced in the 20s, and of course you had World War I and everything going on, or right towards then, so you didn't have a lot of the European stuff coming in, and that kind of changed the products, and so they, Mexican companies, Modelo, started releasing beers like this. And the problem is, you gotta pretty much compare it to other lighter Mexican beers, a lot of the Czech Pilsner ones, but a lot of those don't. They use the dark glass, so you don't have the semi-skunk thing going on. The taste is a little crisper. There's a little more excitement going on in the flavor. So for distinction, it is different from a lot of the other earlier Mexican beers, but that's not necessarily a good thing. And so I'm not going to recommend this Modelo Especial on distinction, just because it is kind of different, but not in a good way. So, sorry. Next is drinkability. How many of these can I enjoy a couple of these in a row? Oh man, I think once that starts to get close to room temperature, that's not going to be good at all. I could probably drink, a couple of these. They're not super crazy, hard to drink. Some of the problem is though, you get that little kind of bubbles on your tongue, which helps with open, kind of excite your mouth a little bit. But then also the actual little carbonation, it's not great for the stomach when you've had a couple, and you can just kind of feel the bubbles going on. You're like, whoa, slow down. So because of that, I'm gonna give it a half for drinkability. It's just, especially when the beer starts getting warmer, I'm gonna get to the point where I don't even want to drink any more of this. You got the bubbles going on, and it's not a great beer though when it gets warmer. So yeah, I'm probably not gonna recommend it on. Actually, no, I'll give it a half on drinkability. If you keep them cold, you'll be able to do it, and maybe with the can, it wouldn't be a problem at all. But so yeah, I'll give it a half. Last category is would I buy it again? And straight up, no, I won't be doing it. The Negra Modelo, is so much better than this one. So if you're gonna get a Modelo, go with the Negra one. But there's so many other Mexican beers that are far superior to this. So because of that, I will not be buying this one again. But alright, that is my review of Modelo Especial. There's not really a whole lot to this beer. It's kind of, you try it, you get it. There's not a lot of complex flavors going on. Maybe the can taste, I'm going to bet the can tastes a little better than the glass, but if you like the can, that's cool. I'd say get the can well over the glass bottle. But yeah, if you've had Modelo Especial before and you like it, you hate it, whatever, let me know in the comments. Please like and subscribe. That would be awesome. You can catch me on Twitter, Two Dudes Podcast, or the podcast Two Dudes in a Six Pack. And that will do it for the review. So for myself and for Modelo Especial, take it easy.